Hello, everybody. My name is Sarah Willis. Pray everyone is doing well. Today I'm going to be talking about why communism is the real threat. If you watch the news, they would have you believe, excuse me, they would have you believe that white supremacy or police brutality, climate change, or the coronavirus are the real threats, but it's really communism. Those are all just tactics they're using to implement communism. And this video is to talk about, what is communism and how to address it, how to fight it. We're going to talk about the tactics of communism or communists. So the dictionary, or I looked it up on the interwebs there, and communism is defined as a theoretical economic system characterized by the collective ownership of property and by the organization of labor for the common advantage of all members. Or another definition is, it's a system of government in which a state plans and controls the economy, and a single, often authoritarian party holds power, claiming to make progress towards a higher social order in which all goods are equally shared by the people. Communism is an insidious and godless philosophy that seeks to abolish private property in the guise of it's for the common good. Communism has killed millions and millions of people. Its objective is power and control. Those of you who are familiar with narcissistic personality disorder or the Jezebel spirit will have a head start or a greater understanding about what I'm talking about, because essentially it's the same spirit, but just in a larger scale. Communism goes against human behavior, natural law, and the Creator himself and God. It's against God's ways. In a capitalist society, the guns point out to protect the citizens and the country. In communist society, the guns turn in against its own citizens and country. Capitalism is the uneven distribution there we go, of wealth, but in communism there is an even distribution of misery. An even distribution, there we go, of misery. Let's talk about other words for communism, because there's many synonyms for communism. Gosh, I'm really struggling with my words today. It's been too long since I've filmed a video. I'm falling out of practice. Anyway, synonyms of communism. This is just a few. Comment down below if you can think of any others, because there's definitely more than just these. There's a bunch more. But socialism. It's important to know the difference between socialism and communism, but socialism is a synonym of communism. The Nazis were the National Socialist Party, Workers' Party. Another synonym is woke or wokeism, Marxist or Marxism, Stalinism, Leninism. And there's many, many more, but those are all different words to describe the same thing. It is a lying, dirty, very dirty, shrewd, cunning, murderous. Like I said, it's killed millions and millions of people. Murderous, determined, godless, international criminal conspiracy. This research that I've done a lot of research, but I'm going to link 2 videos that really assisted me in making this video, so check them out. That's directly from one of those videos with Herbert Philbrick is his name. Okay, let's talk about the tactics of communism or socialism or Marxism, whatever you want, slavery, basically, or narcissistic abuse on a larger scale. Okay, class or race hatred and open class or race warfare. Communism incites race riots or class riots. They do this to destabilize. They do this to destabilize. I can't talk today. I'm so sorry. We just had a heat wave here, so maybe I'm still recovering from that. Destabilize. Destabilize. Yeah. So demoralization, destabilization, crisis, and normalization are the 4 stages of a communist, Marxist, socialist takeover. I'm going to read that again. Demoralization, destabilization, crisis, we'll get through this, crisis, and normalization. Those are the 4 stages of a Marxist takeover or a communist takeover. Really important to know that. Expansion is one of its tactics. Worldly power is the communists' god, and total global domination is the communist service to that god. Communists use lies as a weapon, a tool, or a shield, whatever they need at the time. You know, just like narcissists. Same thing. Same thing. This is really intense here. The next one I'm going to read. This really has really been. I've really been understanding this. Communism, Marxism, socialism, whatever you want to call it. They target the youth. Okay. They target the youth. We'll touch on this again later. Censorship. That's a huge one. These muzzles that they're making us wear. It's censoring. It's censoring free speech. Silencing people. Infiltrate and agitate. This is a big one. They use organizations to infiltrate and agitate. And they always have very good intending names of their organizations. I'll give you some examples. Here's one. Defend the Bill of Rights. Sounds like a good organization, but no, it's communist. It's a Marxist organization. American Youth for Democracy. Citizens Committee for Constitutional Liberties. You may not be familiar with those. I wasn't when I was researching, but here's 2 that you may know. BLM, Black Lives Matter. They're a Marxist organization, or ANTIFA, which means anti-fascist, but they themselves are fascists themselves. They are the monster they are claiming to fighting against. Here's another tactic. Defending the police. Classic Marxist takeover. Defunding the police, so that it provokes lawlessness, so that federal martial law will be enacted. Defunding the police, so that it provokes lawlessness, so federal martial law will be enacted. A very important tactic to know is they say it's for the common good. So whenever you hear, it's for the common good, think twice. Is it really? Is it really for the common good, or is that just a guise for something else? Another tactic of communists is making other people do their dirty work. Like so with BLM, for example, they're making them do their dirty work to agitate and infiltrate. They'll make you do the dirty work. Remember, I listed all those words to describe communism. One of them was godless. Godless. Communism and religion cannot coexist. Communism or socialism, Marxism, whatever, Leninism, Maoism, whatever, Pol Potism, turns churches into storage warehouses, or right now, vaccination sites. So they take away the churches because they can't have the church there. They can't have the true religion or true spirituality. They can't coexist. They want communism to be their god. They can't have the real God be their god, because you can't control people if they're connected to the source or God or the creator. Communism kills or imprisons priests, ministers, pastors, rabbis, holy men and women. They imprison these people. Here's a very specific tactic of communism, just an example. There's many different, but this is one genius tactic that communism has used. So the CCP, which stands for the Chinese Communist Party, has engineered a bioweapon known as COVID-19 and has purposely released it upon the world. This party who has engineered this bioweapon is now the same party directing the world how to respond to this bioweapon as CCP the Communist Chinese Party has infiltrated the WHO, the World Health Organization. That's a brilliant strategy when you really think about it. That's like having your house robbed and the robber is instructing you how to file the claim or how to address that. So it's just one tactic of communism. One example. What can we do to fight against communism? It's important to know what communism is and to know your enemy. It's so important to know your enemy and know the difference between socialism and communism, which is what I'm trying to learn about. If I learn it, I'm still struggling, but it's important to really understand and discern its tactics, discern its propaganda. It's a huge way of, to see what you're fighting against, to know your enemy. Know thy enemy. And become politically informed and then active. Become active in your community school board and take an interest in the teacher's welfare curriculum and intentions. Be active, become active in your community school board, because this is indoctrination centers for communism here in our schools. In schools in general. I thought it was important for you all to know your rights. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And this is kind of branching into natural law a little bit, but you're right. Your right is any action that you take that doesn't cause any harm, and you're not to infringe on anybody else's rights, which is basically do no harm, take no shit. But you have a right to take any action that doesn't cause anybody harm. But if that your action does cause harm, then you have no right to take that action. So you have a right to work. You have a right to assemble. You have a right to worship. You have a right to self-defense. You have a right to compete in an open and free market. You have a right to advance. You have a right to invest. You have a right to dream. You have a right to make a profit. You have a right to body autonomy. You have a right to opportunity. You have a right to go into business. You have a right to abundance that is here on this planet. You have a right to privacy. You have a right to trial by jury. You have a right to petition, a right to vote, a right to freedom of movement, and you have the right of free speech. Those are just some of your rights. If you can think of any more, I'm sure there's tons of them, but write them down below. How to end this video. We're really in a very... I feel like it's a blessing in disguise what's happening right now around the world. I feel like it's ushering in the age of Aquarius. We really have to see the shadow before we ascend or evolve as human beings on this planet. But yeah, that's the real threat. It's not coronavirus. It's not police brutality. It's not racism. It's not white supremacy. It's not climate change or anything else you can conjure up. It's communism. It's slavery, pretty much. It's slavery. It's narcissistic abuse. That's the real threat. I really hope this video stays up. YouTube is now CommuTube. I've been censored. Other people have been censored. So if you watch this video, maybe take notes, because it may not be on for very long, which is really sad. Much love to all of you. If you have any questions or comments or anything you want to add to this, definitely write that down below. I'll see you in my next video.